1. Recognizing the barrier. The most persistent roadblock you will face is rarely external, it lives in the space between thought and action. People point to timing, resources, or luck because those are visible and blamable. Stoicism asks you to look inward and identify the psychological mechanisms that keep you frozen: fear of failure, perfectionism, identity narratives, "I'm not the kind of person who," and discomfort. Recognizing the barrier is the practice of clear perception. It begins with disciplined observation. Notice the excuses you make, the moments you delay, and the stories you tell yourself about capability and timing. Once you can spot the pattern, the work becomes surgical rather than vague. Replace "I need more time" with "I need one next step." Practical steps: keep a 2-week log of moments when you hesitate and label each entry: fear, uncertainty, low energy, lack of clarity. For each label, create one tiny counteraction: 30-minute sprint, a 5-minute phone call, 1 paragraph of writing. Use a threshold rule: if an action takes less than 15 minutes, do it immediately. This trains your nervous system to favor beginning over stalling. Reflection prompts: what is the smallest next action that moves this forward? Which story am I telling myself that keeps me stuck? Who would I be if I consistently chose to begin despite doubt? 2. Overcoming doubt. Doubt is not a defect, it's a signal that you are stepping outside familiar territory. Stoic practice reframes doubt as information, not a verdict. Epictetus and Marcus exercised mental preparation to reduce the paralysis doubt creates. The technique is simple but profound: divide concerns into what you can control, your preparation, effort, attitude, and what you cannot, other people's reactions, outcomes, market conditions. Then allocate your energy accordingly. The Stoic does not suppress fear but channels it into disciplined action. Actionable exercises: practice mini experiments, choose a low-risk activity that elicits doubt and set a measurable outcome. For example, send 3 cold emails, record 1 short video. After the experiment, review with a what worked, what to change framework. Repeat often. Pair that with a breathing or grounding ritual before action to reduce the physiological intensity of doubt. Box breathing for 60 seconds, then start. Cognitive tools: keep a short evidence file, every time you act despite doubt and create value or learn, note it. Over time this becomes empirical proof against your habitual self-undermining narrative. 3. Committing to potential. Commitment is the bridge between intention and identity. Stoicism treats potential as something to be honored through consistent habits and structural supports, not as an abstract promise. To commit is to make designed decisions about your time, attention, and resources that reflect a long-term orientation toward growth. That means saying no to attractive distractions and yes to boring consistency. Structure turns lofty aspirations into tangible routines: a morning ritual, a focused work block, weekly reviews, and quarterly goals. Practical framework: build an architecture of commitment. Start with a clear, written statement of what you aim to become in 12 months. Break it into weekly themes and daily micro-commitments. Add accountability by sharing progress with a trusted peer or coach. And implement a simple consequence for non-adherence, for example, a donation to a cause you don't support. Use time blocking to protect high-value work and review your alignment during a weekly planning session. Mindset checkpoint: measure progress by systems, not outcomes. Ask, did I follow the process today? If yes, you are moving toward your potential even when results lag. 4. Confidence without arrogance. Confidence is the quiet assurance rooted in practiced competence. Arrogance is a fragile posture that depends on external validation. Stoic confidence is built through repeated practice, honest self-assessment, and a habit of listening. To cultivate it, alternate 2 practices: deliberate competence development, focused practice on skills that matter, and humility checks, solicit candid feedback from people who don't need to flatter you. Exercises to balance confidence and humility. Maintain a skill ledger where you record areas of improvement and recent evidence of progress. Complement that with a feedback loop ritual, monthly conversations with mentors or peers where you invite tough critique. Another Stoic tool, perform the role model test. Imagine the person you respect most, would they act this way? If not, recalibrate. Social skills, display confidence by communicating clearly, owning mistakes, and refusing to inflate success. This combination fosters trust and influence without alienation. 5. Adopting the mindset before the skill. Identity precedes behavior. Modern behavior science shows that people change more sustainably when they adopt identity-based habits. I am a runner, rather than outcome-based rules. I will run 3 times a week. Stoics implicitly used identity work, imagining themselves as people of virtue and acting accordingly. To adopt the mindset first, practice role-based micro-behaviors, act as if for 7 to 21 days on a specific trait and record the experience. Techniques, visualization and mental rehearsal. Spend 5 minutes each morning imagining how a calm, competent you handles a present challenge. Micro-commitments, tiny wins that align with the identity you want, and environment cues that prime behavior. Place a notebook, running shoes, or workout gear where you'll see them first thing in the morning. Combine these with deliberate practice, choose high-leverage skills and schedule short, focused sessions with immediate feedback. Self-monitoring, keep a short daily log of identity consistent acts. This builds both evidence and momentum. 6. Lifelong learning. Stoics treated life itself as the curriculum. Lifelong learning is not a campaign but a lifestyle, reading, reflecting, teaching, and applying. The difference between passive consumption and active learning lies in integration, writing, discussing, and using new ideas in practice. Adopt the triple-step learning loop: ingest, read/watch, reflect, journaling or discussion, and apply, experiment or teach. Practical structure: create a sustainable reading rhythm, 20 to 30 minutes daily, keep a commonplace journal for distilled insights and quotes, and schedule monthly synthesis sessions where you write one short essay connecting new learning to your current projects. Teach what you learn. Mentoring or public writing forces clarity and long-term retention. Meta skills: develop formulation skills, how to translate abstract ideas into simple, repeatable practices. Over time, your capacity to learn quickly becomes one of your most valuable assets. 7. The power of habits. Habits are the architecture of character. Design them deliberately. The Stoics used ritual daily checks, morning resolves, evening reviews to maintain alignment. Modern habit design borrows the same idea: place cues, create simple routines, and reward consistency. Start tiny, pick a keystone habit: journaling, sleep schedule, exercise, focused work block, and layer supporting habits on top. Implementation tips: habit stacking, attach a new habit to an established one; environment design, remove friction for good habits and add friction for bad ones; and accountability devices, public commitments, habit trackers. Focus on identity, phrase commitments as who you're becoming, not what you do. Track progress but emphasize streaks and systems over single successes. Troubleshooting: when a habit breaks, fall back to an anchor behavior, 1-minute version, rather than abandoning the practice entirely. This preserves identity and makes restart easier. 8. Facing weaknesses. Weaknesses are raw material for growth. Stoicism calls for precise self-knowledge, not punitive self-hate but clear-eyed evaluation. Use structured diagnosis, identify the behavior, trace triggers and payoff, and create a targeted intervention. For example, if distraction is the issue, identify times and triggers: social media at 4 p.m., boredom in meetings, then design a replacement routine, a 5-minute walk, a short focused task list. Repair strategies: compartmentalize work into environments that support required behavior, deep workspace, device-free zones, practice deliberate exposure, gradually confronting situations that reveal the weakness, and recruit allies, accountability partners, coaches, or therapists. Celebrate incremental improvement. Weakness often yields competence only after many small iterations. Emotional work. Accompany behavior change with self-compassion and curiosity. Ask, what learning is hidden in this weakness? Rather than defaulting to shame. 9. Inspiring others' influence is rarely produced by exhortation alone, it is produced by example. Stoics believed in sympathy. Our lives are entwined. By living with visible steadiness, discipline, and compassion, you create a cultural gravity that others notice and emulate. Leadership through example includes small consistent behaviors, punctuality, prepared presence, admitting mistakes, and prioritizing others' development. Practical actions. Mentor informally. Take 1 hour a month to review someone's goals, share learnings publicly, short posts, lunchtime talks, and design environments that make the right choices easier for others, clear norms, templates, and rituals. Remember that inspiration is slow. The ripple effects of your consistency may take months or years to appear. Measure impact. Collect stories. A brief note when someone reports they were influenced by your example. Over time, these anecdotes build a qualitative record of your leadership. 10. Resilience through failure. Failure is not merely an interruption to progress, it is an essential component of mastery. Stoicism reframes failure as a form of training. Each setback is a resistance band for your mind, increasing your psychological strength with each repetition. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action. This is not metaphorical optimism but a practical principle. You can systematically use adversity as fuel. To make this real, embed structured reflection into every failure. The after-action review (AR) framework works well. 1. What happened? Describe without blame or exaggeration. 2. What did I control? Separate factors within your influence from those beyond it. 3. What will I change next time? Identify one concrete, testable action. This process shifts your mindset from self-criticism to problem-solving. Go deeper by de-risking failure through controlled exposure. Take on small, low-cost experiments that push you outside your comfort zone. Each mini-failure becomes data, not disaster. Over time, you inoculate yourself against the sting of loss. What once triggered days of doubt now passes in minutes. Keep a lessons learned log where you distill insights into short, principle-based notes, and revisit it monthly to reinforce the patterns. Resilience also has an emotional dimension. Acknowledge your feelings without letting them dictate your next step. Practice naming emotions, frustration, disappointment, anxiety, to reduce their grip. Then apply a grounding ritual: slow breathing, a short walk, or journaling to regain mental clarity. Finally, celebrate recoveries as deliberately as you celebrate wins. Give yourself explicit credit for every time you bounce back quickly, take constructive action, or maintain composure under pressure. This not only builds confidence but reinforces the Stoic truth: your character is not defined by what happens to you, but by how you respond.